Okay, we'll go to call the order, the city council meeting, August 22nd, 2023 at 5:33 PM. If everybody would please stand for the pledge and for the prayer first.
Let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Father, we just want to thank you tonight for our city and for our citizens. Father, we want to thank you, and we feel grateful, and there's a lot of gratitude in our hearts for how you've watched over our city and how you've blessed us even up until this point. And we ask for your continual guidance and your continued wisdom upon our life, that as we make decisions on behalf of this city and the citizenry, Father, that you would grant us to do it in your wisdom and your knowledge and your understanding. Now let your hand continue to guide us and lead us and keep us. In the name of your Son, Jesus, we ask. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any agenda amendments needed by the council administration?
No, there's no amendments. I did hand out updated language on one of Jason's topics on NCRS grant, information that I emailed y'all Friday, just having the local match as part of the agenda item.
Okay.
So that was a piece of paper I distributed earlier.
Okay, got that. All right, thank you. Okay, yes, Mr. Ed Whitetoff.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for putting me first on your agenda. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. My wife will too.
Yeah.
I am here tonight to just give you an update on the Amtrak service to our Bay St. Louis Depot, and also progress on the work to make repairs and improvements to the building. So you may be aware that I participate in a monthly conference call with Southern Rail Commission, and at our last conference call earlier this month, they were telling me that the anticipated beginning of the service of trains between New Orleans and Mobile would be no sooner than the February-March time frame 2024. So originally we had hoped that it would be this October, but some agreements with CSX still need to be put in place, and the city of Mobile needs to cooperate more fully with all of that. So that's as soon as we might be able to expect that service to begin. As far as the improvements to the building, within the last 10 days, the repairs to the roof were completed by Mandel, and that invoice has been approved and passed along to Mike Riso. Prior to that, repairs to maintenance to the mechanical HVAC systems and the alarm system has been completed, and we're seeking tonight your permission to advertise for the ADA improvements to the inside of the building, some minor ADA improvements to the outside of the building, automatic door opener, that sort of thing. The bathrooms, of course, on the inside are going to need some extensive overhauling, and we'll have to, work with the people that are in the building to make sure that we keep them comfortable as well as have the work done. Additional work that will be happening as part of this program will be, you're familiar with some of the interior plaster damage that was caused as a result of roof leaks. So we have about a dozen windows that require some repair around sills and jamb. We have some ceiling work and wall work that plaster will be removed, patched, repaired, and painted. The largest component of this in terms of cost is the exterior paint, and that will be part of this program as well. And we expect to get general contractors to bid the entire amount, but we'll be breaking that up into exterior paint work, interior ADA, we'll break those up into separate costs. So we can see where those costs. Do you have any questions?
Hey, Ed, appreciate giving us an update on that. The kitchen area, is there a specific level of scope of work to be done in the kitchen? I know that roll-up door.
That's not part of this particular scope, and it's not been included in any of the grant work.
What is the condition of it? I mean, how does that?
Well, right now it's being used for storage.
Mhm.
There are Christmas ornaments and various city equipment and whatnot that's stored there. Some of the cooking appliances, one or two of them have been moved, so I don't know where those have been, but the cabinetry countertops are all in place, the doors are sound. It's not, at this point, it's not conditioned, so it's not part of our current program, it's not part of the improvements required for the Amtrak service.
We do wanna look at replacing the garage doors in there though.
Yeah.
I don't know whether would they need to be completely replaced or just the bottoms of them can be replaced where there's some rust that's taken
Okay.
over that. So we do wanna look at that as well.
Okay. And Ed, you mentioned the windows. I mean, is it as simple as just recalking that, or are they gonna have to be?
We've got some reglazing work to do on the exterior as part of the painting package. There's some rust on the inside. Those are very expensive and costly windows. It's not in the program to replace windows in this thing, so we will be refurbishing, damaged plaster seals and some rust work on the inside and repainting those surfaces, but we're not.
Mhm.
So, I think we all received an email a week or two ago about some of the plastering of windows. That's the ones you're talking about addressing,
Correct,
correct?
yeah.
Okay,
Now that the roof is repaired, that's all under control.
okay, good.
We can make the
Can't test that
Prepared.
roof until it rains, though.
Yeah, right. Might be a
Yeah.
while.
I think we're all praying
We don't
for a
have
little bit of,
anything leaking now, we don't have any drainage problems.
we're all praying for a little bit of that, yeah, so that's for sure.
Good. Okay, any other questions, Mr. Wykoff? All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Next up is a public hearing for 3043 10th Street. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing at 5:40.
Go ahead and open the public hearing at 5:40 and then ask if there's anybody here on that behalf. I do know the property owner I have been in contact with. He works in Huntsville, Alabama, and so he is stuck at work. He does know that the hearing is taking place, but he will not be able to be here tonight.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else here in reference to 3043 10th Street? Mr. Billy, if you would like to step up and give the council a little rundown on that property, please.
Good afternoon, y'all. I think we've sent in plenty of pictures on the place. Property's located in Ward 6, back down the fire station on 10th Street. To my understanding, this home has been in bad shape for many, many years. There's been several instances that I know of, and I know Councilman Salvo's aware of, where we've had vagrants and homeless people using this place for whatever means, but definitely not approved means. I've been there on the side of the road and documented the place. There's plenty of room for vermin. There's water standing in old tires, mosquito issues. The place is very dangerous. Looked like it was hanging on by a prayer. Our hope is definitely that the council could be removed. I think it'd be in the best interest of the city and the community.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
For some historic purposes here, this house, if y'all remember, we talked about it in the fall, and we actually sent notices, and I believe we were going to set it for a hearing, and then we didn't, because we talked to the property owner. They were supposed to clean it up. That did not happen, so we went back to him again this time. He did over the weekend go attempt to clean it up, and you should have pictures, I think, of both cases of what it looked like a few days ago and then what it looks like now. Essentially now the second story is sitting on the ground in front of the first story. So I do think that he is working to try to do it and has plans to do it. But I do still recommend that it be declared a blighted property, and the city can then go for and work with him and hopefully try to come up with a resolution or make sure that he cleans it up. If not, the city can step in, because there definitely reports of vagrants. And in fact, yesterday when I went to go check on the condition of the property, we actually had a neighbor stop by and say, oh, hey, what are y'all doing here? And, you know, tell us, yeah, we've had problems with people coming in and out. And there's tree limbs growing through the grinder pump. There's no electricity to the house. All the windows and the doors are busted out. I mean, well, now it's completely dismantled, but it's been a blighted property on our list for quite so many years now.
And from the building department side too, we would like to see it declared, and also hope that maybe the city could intervene, at least give this gentleman some guidance. There were no locates called in, demolition permits, and I'm not saying you need to get one now, he's already halfway through it, but there is a safety factor with him demolishing it just at will.
Yes.
So I think if we rule on that, at least give us the means to step in, make sure it's done properly.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else here? Okay. Do we
So-
close?
You have a, we can go ahead and close the public hearing at 5:44.
Okay. Okay. Close the public hearing at 5:44 PM. Okay.
And if you guys so seem fit, there is a resolution before you guys to declare it to be a menace to the public health, safety, welfare of the community, and authorize advertisement for bids or in-house if feasible to have the land cleared. I always like to allow both of those options because sometimes the city can help, you know, do it for a less cost. Also with that, you'll notice that Exhibit A are the notices that were posted. There was notice posted on the property. There were notices mailed via U.S. mail and also certified mail, which I think those were actually unclaimed. But as I said, I had an email address from him from previous. That was actually returned, so we tried email. But I did locate his text message for Matthew Carr, and Mr. Carr and I have been communicating by text. So I do have those text messages to include. And then Exhibit B to the resolution will be all of the pictures that will show documented of years worth of light.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He doesn't want to clean it or do anything
Well-
with it?
Well, he tore half of it down this weekend.
But tore it down. Looked like he took a chainsaw and cut a pile in two and let it fall.
I can't get the pictures open. Take a look. Oh, my.
That was the second floor. And he actually gave me permission to go on the property today, so I was able to get some good pictures. But yeah, that was second. And then
Yeah, I saw it on Google Earth. And,
it was back in the day, probably a cute house 4, maybe 5 hurricanes ago.
Long time ago.
Long
What's the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to follow recommendation, declare the property a menace to public health and safety.
And just real quick too, to add to, I know we touched on it, but we do have documents if you go to the police department and where the police department have been called out for this property.
Thank you. Motion, Mr. Seal.
Second.
Second, is that Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Okay. Second, Mr. Reed. Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, next up's the mayor's report. Before we move on, just like to thank Billy for the job he's been doing. Keep it up, you know, so seeing the difference. Thank you, sir. All right, mayor's report. Motion to approve the purchase of office furniture from Uline for the police station, for the break room, evidence room, and storage room for a total of $12,735.51. Do I have a motion? Motion, Mr. Seal.
Second.
Second, Mr. Reed. Any discussion on that?
Do we have multiple quotes on this?
We did, they had quotes from the next one that was in line down there at the estate pricing, but this is mostly for shelving throughout that, which is heavy-duty shelving and all, something better than what they were presented the first time. But there is other quotes for
There
that.
is another second quote attached.
That's what I was looking
Oh.
for. I'm wondering if it's,
It's all part of that package. Looking for the name.
Oh,
Office
it kinda
Furniture
blends in,
Solutions
yeah.
was
Gary,
fifteen
look at-
thousand.
look at page 15. Or actually, it goes right ahead of 15, but, no, 16. 15's Uline, and then
Yep,
15 starts with Kristen Hinton of Office
Yes.
Furniture Solutions. Then you'll look, let's see, there was a almost $8,300 quote, and then I guess you'd add 3,800. I'm not gonna pretend to do math.
Mhm.
Oh, and then you add 3,000. I can do that math. That's definitely over
68.
12,000.
You got that one? Okay.
So you do have a second.
There is,
Yeah.
Yes,
as part of that,
one attached to it.
Yeah.
So Caitlin, I would suggest, and I'll give you a note to do this, that should be to approve the purchase of office furniture from Uline as the lowest and best quote.
Okay. All right, and I hear the motion, Mr. Seal, second by Mr. Reed on that. Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
B, motion to approve purchase of office furniture from Office Furniture Solutions using state contract pricing totaling $147,216.37 for the new police department. That's better than the question marks we had earlier.
I know, right? It's better than that $350,000 that we heard originally, huh?
Yeah,
Good job, chief,
yep,
assistant.
yep, yes, sir. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Seal.
Second.
Second, Mr. Reed. Any further discussion on that?
Yeah, again, so,
State con-
so where you find these prices on a state bid contract? Because I know we have a local office supply here. Were they allowed to bid also? I mean, this is a big number. It's over 75,000.
Yeah, so we used, Office Furniture Solutions. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, and Suncoast. And, the local company, S&L, does not provide state contract.
And so the way that works, Gary, is if they don't have state contract pricing, then you would have to go bid it out. So state contracting, if it's under state contract, you can direct purchase. If it's not on state contract, then you have to put it out for sealed bids.
Okay.
We did give them a little bit of business this month, though. I
Yeah,
saw
we
that
did
on the docket.
$8,000 worth.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
so-
we have a
Yeah.
fire sale or something?
yeah.
Some of it was.
Like everybody bought something this month, right? I'm like, good gracious, that's a long item list.
All right,
Motion.
motion, Seal, second, Reed. Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, passes 7-0. Thank y'all.
And both of these will be reimbursed through the grant we
Grant.
have on that as well.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Thank
And-
you. Yes,
I
sir.
hope
Just a
y'all
note on
Scotch
that.
guard those seats. You gonna Scotch guard all those new chairs and everything?
Yeah,
yeah, the expected timeframe there is about an 8-week delivery. And so moving this forward is important, but we're hoping to get that sooner, and then the company will come in and set up all the furniture once it's arrived. But
okay,
hopefully it'll be sooner than later.
good.
So the installation of the furniture is included?
That's all included.
Glued and screwed.
And it's,
Yep.
It is.
and it's glued
Matter of
and
fact,
screwed.
I read it, right?
That is it.
That was part of our meetings.
It was part of it.
That was a selling point on this or the cheaper furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to it all being furnished and opened up, and I'm sure you and y'all, the officers all do also. Thank y'all.
When is the
It-
projected date that, we plan on opening?
As fast as they can get furniture to occupy it. And again, that could be 5 weeks, could be 4 weeks, could be 8 weeks. You know, so we're thinking in the 4 to 8 weeks' time. At our next council meeting, we're looking to come back with the other equipment that they're gonna need in the building. So the cameras, computers and other technology stuff.
Okay, good.
This has the biggest lead time, so we're trying to, they've worked extremely hard for the last 6 months, I think, on this.
All right, good deal. Thank you. Okay, next up.
Josh, I'd like just,
Oh, Mayor, I'm
just a
sorry.
heads up on two things.
Okay,
Next week, next meeting, we'll bring together the increase in our utility. We did the study a few weeks ago when the guy came in, and did that study. We'll have that put together and everything. And also wanna come together with a new, to update our tree ordinance for removal and all, to increase, fines and everything for that as well, so we'll have both those ready for next week, next meeting as well.
Actually, since you
Okay.
brought that up, I'd like to see if you're gonna fine somebody for cutting a tree down and say like it's a $1,000 fine for the contractor to pay, I would add something in there that they lose their license to build in Bay St. Louis for up to a year if they cut down a protected tree.
Well,
And
I'm gonna go to
add that as part of
10,000
the
and mandatory 90 days in jail.
bill. What's that?
Just gotta get the judge to do it.
Say that again, Mike.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but the city,
10,000 and
the
what?
city can
I'm gonna go
revoke
10,000
somebody's license.
mandatory 90 days in jail.
Oh, okay.
Judge to follow
Right
the
now, it's
rules.
$1,000 and
Slap on the hand.
maybe 90 days in jail.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's.
So
that
Gary, you're
doesn't
also
work.
saying
So-
basically, don't allow a building permit on that property? Is it-
Oh,
No,
it's from that
for the
contractor,
contractor.
For the contract?
License.
What am I,
the contract.
Yeah,
contract.
in other words,
Okay.
But
revoke
what if
his
it's not a
license, he can't
contractor that
build.
does it?
Huh? Excuse me?
What if the homeowner just does it? I mean, we're only
They
talking
can-
about 2 trees, protected trees, magnolias and oaks, live oaks.
Well, that's where that $10,000 fine comes in.
Yeah.
Well, they cut that big one down in, Bay St. in Waveland for that car wash.
Well, we got more than that. Well, that was authorized, I think.
Yeah.
I think
that
they had
was
approval
approved.
for that.
Mhm. That was-
These are, what we're seeing is not even coming in to get permits, permission or nothing, they just cutting live oaks down.
Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Mayor, can we also get the city arborist in when we're having that discussion, just to get his feedback on that? No, he
Yeah,
handles
that'd be a good
that
idea.
day-to-day.
Mhm.
I think it's John Adams.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
he,
yeah.
I mean,
Like to get, yeah, just to get his input on what he's seeing too.
See what other cities are doing across the coast and other places maybe that he's familiar with, but yeah, we definitely need to stiffen that up,
Mhm.
so.
Absolutely.
so anyway, we'll have that on, update on that and ask for next meeting for that.
Okay, thanks, sir. Anything else, Mayor?
No, thank you.
Okay, council business, historic preservation appeal for 126 Sycamore Street. Anybody here in reference to that? Okay,
Preface what this is an appeal of, somebody talking?
Oh.
This is appeal of the HP's decision to, I'm reading this, it was to not allow the demolition of the house at 126 Sycamore Street. And
correct.
that was from the August 8th meeting, I do believe, or right, whatever their August meeting was.
August 14th meeting, it looks like,
Maybe August 14th.
August 14th. What it says on the paper here.
I think it's August,
Okay.
last Tuesday, so whatever that date
126 appeal.
15.
Yeah, okay.
was. The 14th.
August 14th. August 14th.
Yeah, August 14th. Okay. Anyway, all right. Anything else, Ms. Smith, or?
Hold on, Josh.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Peter Abud,
Peter Abel. Okay.
attorney in Biloxi with Curry, Johnson and Myers.
Okay. Yes, sir. All right. And you're representing the
I represent.
homeowner?
Yes, Mr. Thomas and, Sandy.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. We had a pretty good packet on this with live information, engineer's report,
Yes.
liability cancellation, it looks like from insurance,
Yes, sir.
emails from the applicant.
I can
so, yes.
recap, give me,
Yeah.
3 to 5 minutes.
Yes,
I'd like
sir.
to do that.
Take off real quick. You
Have a couple of, extra exhibits to attach or to put into the record. The record is pretty well developed. I guess the three key exhibits, if anybody wanted extra copies of them, I have a petition from all the neighbors, or at least 20 neighbors,
Yes, sir.
the engineer's report,
Yes, sir.
and a letter from the Montes. But
Yes.
let me add to the record, these are some street views of the property and the neighboring properties, because we're gonna establish that that's what Mr. Thomas and Sandy are intending to do.
Okay.
I wanted to, I only have one copy.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
pictures up in a PowerPoint to Caitlin. She can.
Yeah.
could pass them around. I
Yes,
think
sir.
somebody sent,
Yeah, I
if
sent
they're
a
not
file.
those pictures, somebody sent pictures of the whole neighborhood. I know, I saw those earlier somewhere.
Yeah, I sent Caitlin a PowerPoint with all some surrounding houses as well as the 126.
Okay.
Also today, based on, the public safety exclusion that's in 2-262, providing for an exception to a strict reading of the, Historical Society's interpretation of these rules. We have a statement from the building official, Ricky Ladner, and Deputy Fire Chief Ronald Avery, that the property is in such a state of disrepair and unsafe condition, it's not in the best interest of the owners to attempt repair, talks about the termite damage, et cetera. So we wanted to put this into the record as well. So just to recap, Thomas Lemaire, and Sandy McNabb, his fiance, they are from the New Iberia Lafayette area. They purchased the property at 126 Seymour Street.
Sycamore.
Sycamore, yes,
What
sir.
did I say? I didn't say Sycamore?
Seymour.
Seymour.
Seymour. I'm in the wrong city then.
Yeah.
Sycamore Street, and they purchased it not with the intention of restoring the glory years of 1971 Jim Walter Bits and Pieces Fish Camp.
Yes.
They built this they wanted to come to Bay St. Louis. He's got family here, other family that lives here, to build a compatible house with the neighborhood. They want to rebuild something nice, very nice. They want to follow all historic guidelines that the city has in place. They want to do that with a new structure. They don't necessarily want to be forced into rebuilding a fish camp on piers. Just because something was built in 1971, if it's not contributing, if it's non-contributing, we think the Historical Preservation Committee had some discretion in this. So it's clear it's non-contributing. It's undisputed that they, as you see in the packet, they bought this to take it down and to build the house that they want to build. They're still in the process of talking to architects and contractors, but what they want to build is compatible or very comparable to both houses on either side of them. That's why we put those street views in. He's also got this is another sample. I'll just put this in the record. This is like a Bay Breeze style house, cottage. It's not on piers. It has a porch. It's a 2-story house. They're not looking to do a McMansion. They're not looking to overbuild. That's something that the Historical Committee would have the right to review anyway, and all the neighbors. I'll put this one in the record.
Thank
So it's undisputed this is a non-contributing house. It's arguable to me whether or not the Historical Preservation Society can impose the degree of conditions they can put on a non-contributing house, such as saying you need to build this back the way it looked before. But let's look at the condition of this house. It's well documented through the various letters from the neighbors, that there's termites, foundation issues. The engineering report talks about the subflooring issues. Engineer's report talks about it's not strapped. It's a danger with hurricane season coming up. Their insurance is due to be canceled in 2 weeks. It's not habitable. The one neighbor even talked about the bats that she had to fight off, and the termite, the pest control that they had to do because of the previous owner. I know, from what I know about city government, it is very hard to get 10 people to agree on anything, much less 21, 25.
Mhm.
But I've got they went around this weekend and got basically every neighbor within a rock's throw of here, not saying, yes, I support you. They are petitioning to take this structure down. The structure needs to be taken down. It's not safe, it's not habitable, it does nothing for the city. It's an eyesore and it's a blight on the property. Again, it's arguable whether or not the commission can say, well, I'm not gonna let you take this down until I'll approve your new plans, and then I wanna see that you paid for a permit first, and I'm not gonna do any of this until that. As a non-contributing property, that's arguable whether that can happen. But under 262, none of that matters. 2262 states that none of the provisions of this, and none of these requirements can construed to prevent any action of demolition to correct or abate the unsafe or dangerous condition of any resource where such condition has been declared unsafe or dangerous by the city building official or the fire department, or where it's necessary by the authorities, to correct the condition. In that case, it can be removed in conformity with the normal permit procedures, provided the city building official concurs with the property owner that the resource cannot be repaired and restored, and notifies the commission in writing. That's now before you. That's now been put in the record. And have we had that piece of the puzzle beforehand? I feel certain that the Preservation Committee would have said, okay, you've done the right steps. I can't fault them for following what was in the ordinance and how they interpreted it. But this ties exactly in with not only the code, but it's common sense. You've got another code ordinance that says you've got to follow the building codes and the life safety codes and the fire code. And under that ordinance, it talks about that these have to be done in accordance with the procedures so we can determine what should be demolished and what shouldn't. So it's our position that any rules or restrictions on taking this property down shouldn't apply because we're in a public safety exception. All the petitions of the neighbors asking for this, there are no letters or outcry from the public saying, please restore this fishing. That's just not here today. Thomas and Sandy, they want to fit into the neighborhood. They want their house to fit into the neighborhood. They want to follow all historic guidelines. They're going to come before, but it's not proper to pressure them into submitting this now when this should be leveled, smoothed out. They'll seed it. All the trees that are all around it, hiding everything, can be taken down. And until they build, which I would expect would be within a year, it'll become an asset to the neighborhood and an asset to the city.
Yes, sir. Thank
Any
you, sir.
questions?
Any questions,
What
council?
code was you referring to, 22.62?
2-262. Bay St. Louis, Mississippi
Yeah,
Code of
he's looking at
Ordinances.
section 14
Okay.
is what you're looking at, the public safety
Yep.
exclusion.
Okay.
And then also the section 12.1 under the building talks about the codes that, the codes are necessary for structures that are safe, sanitary, and fit for occupation of use, and to condemn buildings that are unfit for human occupancy and use and demolition of the structure.
I'm guessing, Peter, you probably pulled that off Communicode,
Communicode.
Yes.
Yep.
and you're looking at.
No, yeah, I'm looking at other ones.
Well, the ink is
Okay.
still wet on
That's
these.
fine.
Yeah, the ink's pretty wet, so.
No, that's fine, thank you.
Yes.
That's all we have. We would ask that the, council, ask that, overturn the, ruling of the planning, of the historical commission, allow the demolition to take place. There is precedent for that. I believe a historic type structure, with this procedure, maybe in April, and that was allowed. And, this is gonna be, a much better project, it'll be a better project to put on the tax rolls, but they need to do it on their timetable and not the Preservations Committee.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Smith, do we need to make a motion to overturn what the historical preservation did?
Correct, if that's what you would like to do.
Yeah, I like to make a motion overturn the ruling on this by the Historical Preservation Commission and grant them the opportunity to tear that structure down.
Due to public safety.
Yeah, due to public safety, health, to the community.
And unsafe or dangerous
Yes.
conditions as verified by your building department
Correct.
and your fire chief, your
Correct.
deputy fire chief.
Okay.
So, discussion on there.
Yes, sir.
So why did the HPC deny this? I mean, what was their underlying?
I couldn't find any minutes or any real rulings that they did.
I mean, the code says that you have to present a plan before you can demolish.
So my understanding, Gary, and what I've been able to piece together is there is a portion that says, I'm trying to thumb through here, talks about that you have to have a plan, but they're not looking at that section. What they're looking at is the section further down, that's the public safety exclusion, and that's allowing you to go ahead and demo the building because it's dangerous condition. If you're, depending on what you're looking at, it's page 15. If you're looking at the printed one, I'm not sure what.
Oh, no, I was just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, I think the intent is there and gives y'all the right for somebody not just to buy a structure that may not be somebody's cup of tea, but it's a good property, you know, it's a fine property, people living in it, and just say, I'm gonna tear it down because I don't like the color of the paint or something like that.
Yes, sir.
But it's not clear to me in reading it over is if a non-conforming structure, if they can, do they hold that to the same high standards as you would, a really nice historical property?
Yes, sir.
And it's my understanding in the July meeting that it was approved for demo predicated upon there's architectural plans that are submitted and then approved. Is that accurate, Peter, or Ms.
Yeah.
McNabb or Mr. McNair, if y'all would like to speak to it? And if y'all don't mind, and just so we can
Sure.
catch it on,
Sure.
yeah, if you guys wanted to approach, just so we're videoing it, so.
That's what it was. But they wanted to, they would approve the demo if we gave conceptual plans of what they would approve. But they wanted us basically to build what we were doing.
And I think, and it,
Piling 8 feet, 8
No,
to
no,
9
no,
feet.
no,
Oh, the
on the
elevation, I'm sorry,
pile,
25?
it's
25, 26?
It's an X zone.
Next flood zone,
Yeah,
you don't have to be
Yeah,
raised.
it's not
And so-
necessary for that street.
I think what the HPC was looking at are the provisions of the ordinance that say, so if you were if you're asking permission to demo a house, say it was a perfectly fine 1970s style house, and you just didn't like it, and you wanted to demo that, there's no true historical value, you want to say demo it and build something bigger, and get permits the next day. There's no hardship, there's no problems, there's no essentially public nuisance. Then you would have to show them your plans, and you'd have to get your plans approved before you could get the permit to demo it. But this isn't what their situation is.
And in the meantime, they can't put up.
We are worried about liability
Yes.
Yeah.
and the danger that it presents.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
and I don't think it was, I mean, there's multiple letters of support in terms of demoing this property. A lot of neighbors I spoke with as well and would welcome the improvement. I think the one thing though, in speaking with some of the neighbors is just, and something we want to be cognizant of is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Smith, there's going to be a process in what is going to be built, and that will be brought to HPC as well. That's going to be consistent along the architectural structure for what is set forth by HPC in that area.
Correct. So they have to, no matter what, they have to go back to HPC.
Right.
So when they do, if it's a year from now, if it's 5 years from now, if it's tomorrow, they have to go to HPC and submit their plans, submit everything before they can go to the building department and get any plans approved. They go to HPC first. And that's for any land in the historic district.
Now, and it was brought up in one of the letters, just of the square footage of that property. Do you guys know just an estimate of how big that property
It's
is?
72 by 102,
72 by,
102, 101,
yeah, 72 or 74 by
yeah.
104.
Geoportal says
I just had it-
75 by 102, she's talking
We have,
75.
that's
I
in
just
our
surveyed it.
paperwork.
I read
You have
somewhere
a
it's around 8,000
survey in
square
your
feet.
doc.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's-
I'm looking at Geoportal here, so.
And that's
Yeah,
just
we
where,
had it surveyed. It should be in your doc. Here.
and that's where we just, again, would want to make sure that what's proposed to be there, and it goes through the process, that you don't have something that's towering over your
Oh, yeah.
neighbors. 'Cause we've seen that happen, and
Yes.
so we want to make sure it is fitting with the
Yeah,
consistency of that
we don't want it
neighborhood.
not.
Is this R1?
Or the brief.
R1, should be
And is
residential,
this
R1,
R1 building
Oh,
zone?
single
R1.
family.
Okay.
What is R1?
Single
Residential,
family.
it's the zoning of
For the
single,
zoning.
R1's a
Okay.
single family designation.
Mhm. Okay. All right, I had a motion by Mr. Reed to,
Second.
overturn Historic Preservation's appeal to demolish the property at 126 Sycamore Street. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Seal. And Caitlin was given the information for public health and safety hazard and other conditions that's not favorable was the reasoning to allow the,
According to the building official.
And we need to
and
make
the fire
sure that
department.
the, August 22nd, 2023 letter,
Second letter from the
From
building
the
official
building
and the
department,
Yeah,
the
this
fire
changed it
department.
from
fire chief.
Yeah, that,
we need to make sure that's included in the record.
yeah, that changed the.
That's changed my.
we'll put
For
this on
record, we
file.
actually asked for them to come and they
She said.
wouldn't cooperate.
They did, they can.
I know, but
Yeah. Yep, thank you. All right, any further discussion from the council? Vote to motion?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank y'all. Look forward to y'all doing, here's your survey back.
Okay.
Welcome, look forward to a nice house being built there. Next, on council business, golf
Don't
court
kill the
usage.
bats.
Parking violation. Thank y'all. Thank you. Next up, golf court usage, parking violations,
Yeah.
Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, I did ask just to bring this up at this meeting. I think it's something we have brought up before, we've had some issues with, but it really struck a nerve with me. There was somebody that sent a picture of golf carts and a Polaris that was blocking the sidewalk downtown, and there was a couple with a baby in a stroller, and they actually had to go in the street to avoid, because those were blocking the sidewalk, and go into the street. This car that took the picture had to stop and let them do that, and it struck a nerve, because that's happened to me as well. So I just want to bring that up for discussion and talk the enforcement aspect of, it's evident these golf carts are parking up on the grass, they're parking on the sidewalk, and what our plans are in enforcing it. It's evident that it's growing. I think, we're not getting any less of these golf carts. And so, wanted to just bring this and kind of discuss what we're doing to, enforce what our rules are on the book on that. Is our Polaris, is that something that we're given, obviously we're given permits, 'cause I think it had a sticker.
Yeah, it's
on
low
the
speed
Polaris.
vehicle, anything below 24.9.
But it's something that's been going on for a little while, and it continues to, seems to be an issue that's on the sidewalks, that's in places that they're not supposed to be parked. And it's
Yeah,
just
I
causing
agree.
the congestion, so.
Well,
It-
and I see it with golf carts, but I also see it with motorcycles as well. People
me.
parking motorcycles on the sidewalk and
Right.
blocking the sidewalk.
I see
And-
cars.
Was
So
it
what's the
Doug?
city's administration's
Was it
policy
Doug?
on
Was it
golf
mine?
cart enforcement?
Enforce it if they see it.
Chief, you wanna address that? You gotta see it to enforce it or what?
Let me step to the
Oh,
mic.
step to the mic, please, chief, I'm sorry.
Step away from the microphone.
So what we'll put in motion this week before the weekend starts is we'll put notice to all the business owners down there about the parking regulations, the sidewalk, that they're make clear. And we'll go out and enforce, issue citations over the weekend. That'll send a quick message that brought to your attention, brought it to our police department. We'll be happy to handle that. And, but we will give them notice as a reminder right beforehand. We don't have to, but we will just way, if anybody complains, they've been forewarned.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Handicap parking as well. I've seen the handicap parking spots blocked off down there before.
Yeah.
So,
we will handle that as well.
I mean, that's just,
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
not
sir.
they don't have a handicap sticker and it's blocked off, they need to be
I guess
rectified.
my debate was, is a Polaris a low-speed moving vehicle? Because they can do 60 and 50 miles an hour too, to me.
Depends on how fast they can go.
They gotta bring in the certificate that states that they go below 24.9, and that's part of the
Well,
permit
They do,
process,
they
right?
do, but according to I was reading the bill that was wrote
It's a
for
switch
this,
flip.
and I was reading just ordinances. It's gotta go more than 20, but lower than 24. These are capable of going a lot more than 24, in my opinion. Well, not my
Yeah, they're,
opinion,
no,
I know
they,
they
I could,
will.
they do not fit the,
Yeah, I
To
mean,
me, that's not a golf court
Right,
ordinance,
so
and that
they
was
can't-
not the
Remember, this
intent
is
of the
a
law,
permit.
was to
remember, this is an
Polaris.
affidavit process.
Right.
Yeah.
they
So
can't get a permit.
I can
They're
go
swearing to it.
get one and stick it on my whatever if I want to.
Right.
So that goes, again, Toby, my recommendation is if the police officers see that, then they need to issue a citation for it because
Certainly.
You have to go that fast.
The businesses that do the golf cart rental, are they providing the renters, what our ordinances are for golf carts? I'm curious about that. Are they required to?
they better, I mean,
Should
yes,
be.
they are
Should
required to
be.
be,
Should be,
yes.
but yeah.
'Cause I think we have a mix. We have some of the local residents who are violating this policy as well as out-of-towners who don't know, and they're doing what the locals are seeing the renters, thinking, well, I'm gonna park there too. But we'll issue citations and,
And it might
get
be,
'em off the sidewalk.
it might be worth a phone call to those guys too, saying,
Mhm.
hey, you need to, make sure people notify the rule. I know you guys have rules because they need it, cause the thing is if somebody's parked on it and if it's registered to one of these rentals, the ticket's going to them.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
I'm saying. Tickets going to rental, now, they may have a policy where if you receive a ticket, you have to pay for it,
Yeah.
almost guarantee they do.
like rental cars do.
Yeah, but that's not, as far as we're concerned, they can pay the ticket, whether they can
Right.
recoup it from their people,
to them.
that's on them.
And Chief, just while we're paying close attention to that also, and I know our officers have, other things to do, but the illegal parking that's going against traffic down the beach is something that's been problematic. It happens quite often, crossing the lane, they're parked wrong, so they're crossing traffic to park. So and I think just as we enforce it, that'll start to have positive ramifications in terms of it, to have it continuing, but.
I think so, yeah.
Simple request.
Man,
Yes.
life is good,
Well,
isn't it?
It
As
is.
soon as we get them other officers after the new budget, have a
Right.
lot more presence there to really
Yeah.
educate them on the parking laws.
Exactly. No, we can't wait, and we appreciate that. So we're actually down, 3 are out right now that are normally on patrol, so.
Good.
Amazing how
The
many
new
people
officers
live
will
sick,
help
right?
level that back out again.
Yeah, thank Chief.
Thank
But
you.
yeah,
Thank
Thank you for the job.
I
But
just
y'all
want-
will start this weekend, correct?
yeah.
Thank you.
I just don't know if that was the intent of when we did the golf cart ordinance was for, because will somebody put a seatbelt and blinkers on the four-wheeler, can they ride it down the road because it goes below 25? I mean, that's,
Yeah, it's not if it can go below 25. It
everything can
cannot-
go, yeah.
Yeah, it cannot, it cannot be manufactured to go more than 25.
Exceed, yeah.
So, for example, if a car, if you went and put some governor on a car and said, oh, well, it only goes 20 now, no, you're not getting a golf cart, go see the tag.
Yeah,
Tag
exactly.
So,
That's what I say, I know them things, they go a lot quicker than that.
Yeah.
They
And they
30, 40
actually
miles
may
an hour.
have, I don't know,
Switch,
that's
you
a whole
can
different
switch
thing,
and
but.
stay under it, and flip it, and
Well, but they have to bring, I mean, they're supposed to bring in the manufacturer's recommendation.
sign an
Affidavit saying it.
that it's a
Yeah.
golf cart.
But they could be just placing the
Or they can take a sticker.
Yeah, they're just placing the
Put
sticker.
stickers on anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I guess that's something we gotta watch and because I've had people call me and I say, if you wanna go on the golf court, you buy a golf cart.
Yeah.
Don't buy a
And,
Hunt
Chief,
ATV to bring downtown Bay St. Louis.
It
I
could-
told 3 of my friends that called me and said, which one should I buy? They about the same price. I'm like, if you wanna put it on the road and go downtown, buy a golf cart.
Well, and it might be a good idea to print out a picture with a couple of these side-by-sides in it and put it in the golf cart package that said, these are not to be permanent, and have it in there, just when people come to, I think we have some information wherever, might be good just to declare.
Don't matter what you have on the form, they can fill it out, they can lie what's on the form, if they're gonna lie about getting it, right? So,
Exactly, yes.
They will, but some people really may not
no.
know. I mean, they
Right.
do, there are a few of them that ride around town, so somebody could. but
Yeah.
They can't deny if there's a big form that says, not this.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. All right, anything else on? You had a question, sir? Okay, yes, sir. Step up, please, real quick, and say your name and. Okay.
Do you want him to come to the microphone?
Yes, sir. Can you come to the podium if you can? Okay, thank you, sir.
Like I said, I know you have the statement about the liability, but you have no, and, Cecile, you were talking about, they just put it on an affidavit and bring it in. Why don't you all have where they bring it in and you inspect it, and then you can determine whether it's the right or wrong thing, instead of just letting them bring it in, because they can bring it in, put what they want, and they can put it on something else.
Right.
So I think that would be the most prudent thing to do.
I think we had that discussion at the time, and it was liability, because the blinkers work today, and we check, and they don't work tomorrow, and they get run over and killed.
Well,
do we hold liability because we gave them a sticker
What-
yesterday and said the blinkers worked? You know, I think that
well,
was something
no,
that was
yeah,
happening.
that's,
The problem is the people that's gonna cheat's gonna cheat. So you could drive a golf cart in there, because remember golf carts don't have VIN numbers. So you could drive it in there, stick it on a triangle, then go home, take your triangle off, and so unfortunately, it's not like a car where there's a VIN number tied to that
Well,
single golf cart.
I'm sure the golf cart has some kind of
It's got a
identification.
serial number
They
on
have
it.
some sort of
It has
serial
to
number.
have,
Yeah, it's got a serial number on it, because that's what's on your insurance card and
yes,
stuff.
it has
prove
to
it.
have something.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, like I said, I understand the liability part of an accident or something like that, but this way, you are knowing what's getting on there.
I've seen Waveland inspect them at the police department.
They
down
do.
there.
I
They pull up
read
there,
their-
they
I
do
read
an
their-
inspection, they give them their tag.
Their thing, it has to be brought in and inspected,
Yes, sir. I've seen them do it.
and I think that's what should be done.
I think that's something we can definitely revisit, and if we want to do it. I think at the time, we just
I
was
will never
concerned
be
with
in favor of
liability. Yeah,
You know, and that way you still,
Yes,
you're
sir.
not, you know,
yes, sir. We'll definitely get some discussion. Thank you, sir.
okay.
Appreciate it. Okay. Anything else on that, council? New business, old
Hey,
business?
Josh.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, if I could, I missed that we have something on the consent agenda C. If I can get them moved up to under council business, it's
Okay.
with the Rotary Club.
Okay.
I apologize for that, not having y'all separated on that,
All right, we'll take that next then, if you would like.
if that's okay. And what this is, they're asking if they could, put up something at the community center back by the depot. If y'all wanna come forward
Yes, sir.
and make the presentation for the 100-year anniversary coming up, in 25, I think it is. So,
I've seen that. That old gear y'all put there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
and
Dave keeps asking.
Huh?
Seven's big.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So I'm David Hilbert, and I'm in Rotary Bay St. Louis, and Terry Velarde in Rotary, and David Maley, and we're all former presidents and current members of it. And our Rotary Club of Bay St. Louis celebrates its 100th anniversary, July 29th of 2025. And I guess we all know all the great things that Rotary has done in Bay St. Louis, going back to founding the Chamber of Commerce and just all the different organizations we've donated money to throughout the years. So I looked around at what other Rotary clubs in the area had done for their 100th centennial, and a lot of them, put up a centennial marker. And what really stood out was what Lafayette did. And some of y'all probably know that Rotary's logo is a gear. And it's been around with Rotary for 100 years, and so it represents strength and power. And so the Rotary Club of Lafayette found a sugar plantation gear that's about 6 feet high. That's just exactly like the Rotary gear. And they put it at their Centennial Park and put a placard in front of it that says what Rotary does internationally, which is there's 46,000 Rotary clubs and, and I think 1.4 million members. Of what they did in Bay St. Louis, and also the fact of just what a great organization has done. So, one of our members found a 7-foot rotary wheel in Broussard, Louisiana, from the Lula sugar sugar mill, and we would like to build a similar centennial display like Lafayette did in front of the community hall. And as most of y'all know, the community hall was built by Rotary clubs from around America and around the world, and they donated the building to the city. Inside in the foyer is a descriptive plaque of what they did. So we would like to put our centennial display on that strip of grass on the left-hand side of the entrance of it.
Okay.
And that's pretty much cool. It's gonna be a fun project. It'll, once when people see that and walk by and say, wow, what the heck is that? That giant gear, they'll know, wow, Rotary Club is, it basically was 100 years old. They built with other Rotary clubs, built the community hall. And so with your support, we'd love to get approval to put it there. It probably wouldn't be for a year till we started doing this project, but we just gotta it weighs 12 tons. We'd have to have it trucked in, stored. The company's gonna donate it to us. The sugar plantation's gonna donate it to us. They're gonna sandblast it and repaint it and build the base on it, and we just have to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's what, about 7 by 7? I mean, it's 7 feet, 7 by 7, or what's is that what it is?
Yeah, about 7 foot diameter.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Looks good.
You have to get Jason and, build the foundation for that.
Yeah, it was heavy. All right, yeah, so the motion would be to authorize the Rotary Club of Bay St. Louis to install a monument display outside of the Bay St. Louis Community Hall in celebration for their 100th year anniversary. Motion, Mr. Hoffman.
Second.
Second, Mr. Noblock. Any further discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, passes 7-0.
Thank you.
I know we're talking about protecting trees, but can we take some of them palms out and open it up? It'd probably look better in front of that community
Trees
center.
back there we're gonna take out.
And that'd be a good spot where they wanted to put it. If them palms were gone, they would open it up and make it look a lot better.
How you
I'd like
gonna fund
to see,
it?
I'd like to see it, if we can, have it illuminated at night.
Yes.
Some kind of uplighting, we're
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
uplighting even on those oaks like you're talking
Yeah,
about.
from the oak
As far as funding, we're starting early enough so we can fundraise for it.
Okay, good. Thank y'all.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
y'all very
everything
much.
y'all do.
Sorry about that too.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you, Ms. Dave. All right, next, new and old business, Mr. Hoffman.
I had a lady asking about, not pulling up the right email, mitigation grants, regarding some property she has on Carroll. If the city had anything, or if anybody knew of anything that was coming down the line, Jason, I don't know if you know of anything, regarding mitigation grants. Apparently she wasn't able to get the 30,000 to raise the house back in Katrina days, but now is being told that her flood insurance is gonna be astronomical because she doesn't qualify for the correct, current, heights and all by FEMA's flood zone and remapping that they've done. So she was just asking if there's anything that we knew about. It was a lady on Carroll, first block of Carroll, I believe. And then also, I don't know if anyone else got an email, but received an email about the tree in City Park behind Old City Hall, the oak tree, or I'm not sure if it's a water oak. I think it's a water oak, or maybe a live oak. But
The
she
one
said,
along the railroad track.
yeah, she said there's a lot of branches that have come
Limb
down out
broke.
of it recently, and just wanted to get it checked out and make sure it's not gonna be a hazard to kids or somebody playing out there or
I think it's in
playing
that
tennis
sand
out
pit.
there.
It's in that sand pit.
It's in that sand, the one, the
I think
one
it's
in
a live
the-
oak.
Yeah, it's just
It is
branch-
live
It's a big
oak.
branch that's down
Yeah.
in it.
But, and then that was pretty much it. I had sent the mayor, some information regarding the courts at McDonald, but, we're still in working with all that, so.
Gene, on that note,
Uh-huh.
I think we might have gotten the same call, but I think it's a valid point, and I know we've discussed it. I don't know if we're still at that point where having a conversion, having the tennis courts
That can be
that could
converted.
fit, yeah, convert pickleball.
Well, and maybe even have one that's full-time 2 or 4 pickleball courts, but can be converted back to a tennis court, and then have one that's just a tennis court that could be converted to pickleball if someone wanted to go out there and stripe it off and set it up for, play or tournament or some sort, so.
Is that at City Park?
Looking at the courts that we're looking to build at McDonald.
Someone did
I was gonna say, somebody striped
Yeah,
the
someone
one
striped
in-
it, yeah.
Well, that's what, I guess this person was saying, is that someone striped the one at City Park, and now they can't even play tennis out there because people are always out there playing
All the
pickleball.
lines are the same color. I think they're all white, huh?
I don't know. I have no idea, I don't,
Take it up.
I haven't been out there, but I'm just, Heather, you said somebody striped it?
Yeah, we just, I
know.
saw it, I was
But somebody
around
went
there the
and
other day, and I
striped
was
it
like,
for
that's
pickleball, and
pickleball
they've been-
stripes.
I don't know if it's.
No, not
painted.
painted, I think it's just,
I know, I didn't go out and
But
look to
they-
see what it actually was.
they're using it for pickleball
Yeah.
constantly, so the tennis players can't even get on it. Cause I
Yeah,
know
that's
that
all
was
I'm
the whole
saying.
idea, was
If
we were not
If we
gonna,
had something that converts over, you know, one of them you could stretch it out the way you could get 4 on one tennis court.
right.
Yeah.
But when somebody wants to go play tennis, they can take up all 4 courts. That's, you know, one of the things
Well, but
we
my
discussed is-
thing is, I think we should have one court that's full-time designated as a tennis court, and one court that's, can be for that is for
Oh, I
pickleball
think we
courts.
should, I think,
But we could put a tennis net back in the middle of it if
I
someone
think we
wanted
should
to.
look at, when we plan this whole thing out is possibly do we add tennis courts,
Right.
strictly tennis courts into this mix as
Well,
well?
yeah, I'd love
You
to
know, what's
see
the perfect number of
4 tennis
basketball
courts and,
you know? I don't know. I don't know if 2's gonna be satisfactory, 3,
Right.
you know, or 4, whatever that number is we see.
Right.
But then there's plenty of room there where originally it was, you know, when we talked about this, to maybe put tennis courts in there as well with this
Right.
and create the whole park area there.
Before we spend that money, can we understand, I think maybe a couple months back, we were looking at the rationale of not being able to utilize the Bay High tennis courts. Did we ever get an answer on that?
I'll check and see what that is.
Been discussing that for years, though.
Yeah.
Haven't got nowhere.
School would-
Yeah.
I've never seen a play.
I mean, I spoke to Mike Bell about it several times, and he says it's up to the city. So,
We've
Up to
argued
the
and
city, 'cause
fought
we've
with
I
been
it.
mean,
trying
that
to do
could
it for-
call
City
multiple
property.
times. I mean, it's their court, so they have to allow the city to come.
they
Come on it.
told me we have to have insurance in place and help with the maintenance is
They-
what the big issue
Having
was.
access issues.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the
I mean, as far as the insurance, I mean, that's literally a
We
call
have
to our insurance carrier to say, add this facility to our coverage. So, I mean, as far as the maintenance, that would be them saying, hey, city, this is your responsibility. This is what you want to do. But Mike and I have made calls multiple times on that. And in fact, they have said numerous times too, that if somebody wanted to utilize the court, they could call and they would make them available. I just don't know anybody who's ever tried to actually do that to know if it, in fact, people have asked me about it and I've told them that and I said, hey, report back to me and let me know.
No, I got a couple
Nobody's ever
calls
done
this
that.
week about that, and I said, that's my understanding, you can go down to the school district office and ask for permission to play on them.
Mhm.
And that's been my understanding, is that
Now,
everybody
I mean, I
else
will tell
understand?
y'all, you know, the only person this impacts is me and my neighbors, but occasionally there are people in there that are playing. So, I mean, they're not school kids,
Mhm.
they're people. So I don't know if they have gone through and gotten the process and they're allowing them. I just don't know.
Yeah, if y'all could just clarify the process for us, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 6 courts or, just locked
Yeah,
up
so
most of the
that,
time.
that would kind of be public, semi-public, though, if you gotta get a key and permission
said she sees
and all that. Not
Well,
really- not really public.
their big sticking point is they need to control access because they
Yes.
don't want somebody to
Vandalism.
leave the courts open. And, we talked about how we could segregate for fences because there's benches in between the courts. So our idea was to go ahead and just fence off one court basically, so you could have public access to, but then the way the benches in the center are, you really can't isolate one court because they worry about somebody leaving it open, kids going there skateboarding, just vandalism basically, like, because when we had the old tennis courts.
That'd be the worst surface to skateboard on, I don't know.
When we had the old courts, they vandalized those, they tore the nets up.
I
they
can tell you the
skateboarded on
nosy
them.
neighbor would be
Yes,
calling the
I mean,
cops.
they did,
That's
so
good.
the school boards always, or the schools always said, that's their biggest worry, right? How do they control access? And like, put a keypad, get somebody a key, right? And
Well, they need to
Yes.
make a decision because, I mean,
Well-
we're getting I get a lot of calls on it.
And there's ways to make it work. The city of Gulfport and the Gulfport School District, they share multiple facilities, so there are ways to make it work.
Well, I mean, when we used to play basketball at the Boys and Girls Club, well, the police department was there, and we just went to dispatch, got the key. When we finished, we brought the key back. I mean, we had dispatchers right here.
yeah, we don't have dispatch though.
No.
See, that's the problem, right? Yeah, I mean, we brought that up before, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have dispatch anymore. We don't have 24/7.
And I will not volunteer to be the gate.
No, right? How do you? Right? We did talk about that,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Miss Brenda May.
We don't have the keeper of the key anymore. So I mean, I
See
think
what they say
clarification,
as far as what they gotta do to call.
yeah, I think clarification would be if they have a form to fill out and what have you, I think that would be another good starting point, but we've been, yeah, it's always hard to get off center with trying to get people to use it. We agree, we've argued that, people, taxpayers pay for it and
Maybe
school says, but we pay to
investigate
maintain it, so.
Maybe investigate to some kind of keypad that you give somebody a code and you know who punched that code in or something.
Maybe they could pick the key up from the fire department. Somebody's always there.
I mean, the other suggestion is that, you guys could always go, and I'm willing to go with you if you needed to, but you can always just ask to be put on their agenda and go talk to them and say, hey,
What do we need to do?
what do we need to do here?
Yeah, okay. We'll check into that. Anything else, Mr. Hoffman?
No, sir.
Anything, Mr. Reed?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, as soon as you and I talked about homeless staying at the park, so I got a call. Have we addressed that yet?
Trying to.
MLK.
We've sent them out there. I know the
Chief left.
I know they've been back there and addressed it a few times, Public Works has called it in. They trying to keep them out of there.
Okay. And how soon do you think we'll get that fence put across there to close that opening off?
I hope to have it next week or so.
That way they go out there, they won't be able to run through there.
That's what, yeah, they won't be able to run to Old Spanish Trail.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Seal?
Yeah, I should have sent a bunch of emails out about some of this stuff. Fire protection for bathroom facility at the harbor ramp, I know we looked at that. I don't know if anybody's looking at that, or we're just talking about it. We'd like to have a report on, somebody gives a report on that, whether it's needed or not, and, if it's okay to be there.
Fire protection on what?
On the bathroom that's
Bathroom facility
underneath the bridge.
under the ramp, harbor ramp. Again, when they had that fire and the interstate collapsed in Philadelphia, got to thinking, get a big enough fire on there, it collapses that $3 million ramp, then we kind of, I don't know. Yeah, and again, it might not get hot enough, might be no impact, right? We just need to find out if that's still the case. And I'll send y'all some emails tomorrow, just a bunch of piddly stuff.
Okay, that's it? All right, Mr. Lewis?
No, I'm good this time.
All right, Mr. Zimmerman?
Good.
Mr. Noblat? Okay. I'm good. All
Oh,
right.
I got one thing.
Okay, yes, sir.
On 603, I saw the city crews working on those lights. Are they getting ready to install some new lights or something?
Trying to get wiring rerun from all of the ones in north of Bayou LaCroix there, where so many of them missing. That's the area they're working on now. Ronnie's working on getting prices to start replacing poles out that way. He's getting prices to, I think we met. Need to put some rams or something around it.
Get rubber
yeah.
Bounce off of them.
But
They gotta be breakable.
90, I think we're only missing 3 on 90, so he's getting that in the works now. But out that way, a lot of it is the wiring,
Yeah. Around Longfellow too, a bunch of them's out where it's dark. I think 3 or 4 is working on the northbound, southbound.
Longfellow's a call, we just have to mark the poles and everything. And
Some of them's, 2 of them's missing the whole heads up top. The poles are standing up, there's no arms coming out
on Longfellow?
on 603.
Oh, coming into it. Those arms gotta be put back up.
Yeah, they got
They
2
put the poles back up that were knocked down, and I don't know if they didn't have the arms in or whatever reason on.
But that whole stretch right there, most of them's not working right now. So,
We'll just take the ones in the front,
Yeah.
move them down.
yeah.
Man, Bayou LaCroix is like a magnet now.
We should be getting 2 arms every time I knock them center ones down.
Yeah. Oh, we got arms.
So, Mike, give us a synopsis of that, before we move on the fire, that brush fire. I know the firemen had to do a really good job. And,
Which one?
The big one that they had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, look, this thing, it started back off the interstate, as we know, shut down the interstate. Worked its way through Bayou LaCroix, thank goodness it stayed north of the little bridge out there, on the dump road out that way. It stayed on the north side of that, jumped the road out there, went in, if you're familiar and all, followed the bayou and all down through there, If it had been on the other side, it'd have hit the dump area probably and could've went into the sheriff's department out that way, but they were able to contain it, keep it before it hit Hunter White's place down in there through there. And, you know, I think they ended up with maybe 10 or 12 dozers in. The Forestry Commission came in and helped them and everything and really got it under control. But, you know, listening to the guys, and especially the Forestry Commission, it was one of the worst ones they've seen, and this is the worst drought they've ever seen, you know, in their lifetime and all. But, you know, flames was up in the trees 30, 40 feet. Our guys were, you know, was out there, you know, just trying to help out with all the volunteer fire departments and all. But, man, I tell you what, it was 2 or 3 days where it was nonstop out there for them. They did an excellent job, you know, all of them. And we was very fortunate, you know, there was one sprouted up, but I think that was more of a screw up on one individual's fault there off Central and 11th, I think it was.
11th, yeah.
You know, and they was able to contain it in that block as well. So we was very fortunate that it didn't get into the houses anywhere, you know, in the Bayou LaCroix area and go even further and all that way, you know, so. And I'm saying, though, that's why I asked which one, because, let me think here, Sunday off of St. Charles Street on the north side of Old Spanish Trail, that dead end, when you go through the main drain there, that comes next to Mr. Bobby Compretis through there and all the way to Washington and back through there, that block in there caught on fire behind the houses in there. They fought it on and off all night, and about 1 o'clock in the morning, they had to call the Forestry Commission in there to come in with the dozer, and they was able to go in and keep it in that area there. But again, very fortunate, it was right behind the houses there and everything on St. Charles. If it had got to the ditches, jumped the ditches, it'd been on Washington Street over there and possibly that big wooded area behind Mr. Bobby Compretis and all that. So again, they were very fortunate. They worked all night on that, next day as well, keeping it from flaring up and everything. And most of them, you know, they ended up having to call help in and everything, but they worked about 48 hours on that without any rest at all. So.
Do we have a burn ban in place right now?
We've been having a burn ban for a couple weeks now. On another note, railroad sent a message coming through and grinding rails. We sent back to them that we're on a ban burn. Waveland signed, sent it to them. The county signed. The governor has issued a ban burn. We sent that to them and told them we do not approve of this. That, you know, they're fully responsible if anything does happen. Heather's been on the phone with their governmental affairs person out of Jacksonville, the chief and all them. They've been in contact with some locals and everything. They assure that there's three cars that's hooked to it, that comes along with it, that has fire suppression. I forgot how many thousands of gallons of water they contain. The concern is once they pass through there, it can light up after they pass through and all, you know. They come back days later and cross tires is on fire when this thing comes through. If you've never seen this, it's a show to see. I mean, it's like a firework display coming through. You know? It came through a couple years ago, and when you see it at nighttime, it's just amazing what it does. But this just isn't the right time of year. So we've resent the email to them again and attached the governor's ban on it, you know, and again told them that, you know, we do not approve of this and all, you know, to try to cover in case anything does happen with this.
Yes.
So who sets a burn ban? How do we do that, right? Because 2 weeks ago, somebody was actually talking on the water, right? And then somebody's like, does Bay St. Louis itself declare a burn ban, or does the county declare a burn ban in the county?
Either.
City, both, all three, everything. You know, Hootie can set one for his. We still have to set it for ours. This one here, we set out, I think it was maybe the 8th, something like that.
Right.
Looking.
Okay.
Most of the time,
and
the
then
city will
Waveland
follow,
followed a
county
week
will
later,
follow.
and the county fired.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering because, I mean, we've been so dry for so long, but nobody had a burn ban. And then we had all these fires and like, well, and we didn't have a burn ban while we was having all these fires, and we've been dry for a month, 5 weeks now. So what took so long to and I thought the Forestry Commission would say, hey, we got so much, drought that you need to go ahead and impose a burn ban. And I was just wondering how the protocol was to kick that in action. We just think, we need to have a burn ban because we think it's dry, so we have no data.
Bonnie
We're
them's
just
pretty good
assuming.
about issuing them.
Right.
They stay on top of things. Ours was issued before, you know, the
Right.
big fires and all.
Yeah, I
cranked
just
up.
didn't know how the protocol
But
was.
again,
Somebody helped us make those
That
decisions.
burn ban doesn't stop
No.
ignorance.
Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't, but I just,
Since then, they've still going out and people still burning fires.
yeah,
And they gotta go out there and put them out and everything and, you know.
okay. Yeah, I just
So-
didn't, I never asked about the protocol.
Good. Public forum, anybody sign up for that? Nope. Okay. Project updates, engineer report, Mr. Kenichi. Got some action items tonight, huh?
Yes, sir. We got a few things to discuss with you guys tonight. So the first item, we were asked in July to come back with a work order for Highway 603. This is the turning lane extension or modification project. This is to kind of expedite the design and bid phase portion of it. We do have funds from GRPC and MDOT for the construction phase. They're looking to add additional funds. But by proceeding with the permitting work and the surveying and design work, we can speed up the process of getting that information to MDOT. And so we have issued or submitted a work order for you guys to review and consider tonight.
Yes, sir. And that will have us pretty much ready to go when the funds come to us, should be ready to bid it out.
Yeah, that includes the survey work, topo, boundary, design, permitting, and bid phase services.
Okay.
And then after that, it'll have to be a CE&I contract, which is a construction engineering and inspection contract. But this will get us all the way to the design phase much quicker, or to the bid phase much quicker.
Okay.
And this will be included in the grant funding?
No, it would not. This would be something that would come out of the,
Or,
I guess, general fund, because this wouldn't be included as part of the match.
We were
not
looking at
going
the
through.
Mississippi infrastructure.
well, yeah,
Okay.
so did we budget this
I
project?
don't think that
I don't think it was
no.
budgeted through Mississippi infrastructure, but you have a pool of money, I think it's about 700 grand in there that you can use towards this type of project.
And I don't think none of that money's truly budgeted, really.
Which money are you
It's
talking
not
about?
tied to a,
Well, I mean, we have
Modernization
a
use
list of
tax, huh?
projects we did
Yeah.
budget this year
Mhm.
to fund, right? And this is,
Yes.
I know we're talking about doing it, right? I'm not
Yeah.
against
Mhm.
doing it.
Yeah.
But it just come out the blue that I need $50,000 and we didn't fund it. Should've been this budget funding cycle.
I wanna say we have it in next year's budget, 'cause it was one of our made, we had all the projects listed in there.
603 turn lane
Yeah,
project
right.
was
But
in
that,
that
but
scope,
that's
yes.
grant funding, it's not
Yes,
this, and
not
that's why I
this
asked,
money.
No.
is the grant, they're gonna pay for this
Yeah.
$50,000?
Yes.
That's my original
For
question.
603?
Yeah.
It should, in the budget, it should show where we have the grant
Mhm.
and total amount over here, which would be the match, to make it to that amount.
Yep. So will this cover the match?
It should be.
Can we use this for match? This 47,000, can it be used toward the match?
I don't think you can, because in order to go through that, you have to get what's called special match credit approved through MDOT, and that covers the preliminary engineering contract. So if you go through MDOT and
Right.
get all their approvals on the design side, then you can use that as part of the special match credit. Otherwise, it would just be something to come out of some other account.
Yes. Yeah. So this would be pretty much non-reimbursable and just be us.
It'd be non-reimbursable
Paying
through your
for it.
Mississippi infrastructure.
Yes, exactly. But this would probably speed us up a year
Probably
or
save
two
it
on
6
turning
months to
lanes.
8 months, if not more.
Yeah, at least 6 months, not
6
more.
months, okay. And if we get the money, we'll go over budget, we're still gonna have to pay out of pocket anyway if we budget what the grant amount is, correct?
If they don't have any additional funds that they can apply to the project, then yeah.
Okay.
Right now, we're somewhere near 500,000, and we've asked for about another 150,
Yeah.
based on estimates that we've had.
And I've noticed
And
things.
they've indicated to us that could, most likely would be awarded.
So, when for this, you'd still have to go back and do this all over again?
No, that would be a separate, construction contract.
So the engineering, wouldn't be necessary now? I mean, in other words, I'm trying to justify why we spending an extra
Right.
50 grand.
It would
6
be
months?
done.
Is it just speeding this up 6 months for
But wouldn't you be
$50,000?
And it also allows more of the grant money to be used for construction. So most of your funds, a lot of the smaller projects through GRPC, most cities use, Select to pay for the engineering on the front end. That way the grant funds can go towards construction. If you use special match credit, then a portion of this would come out of your construction fund, from the grant, but you already don't have enough money for that as it is. So it's kind of, you pay for it now, pay for it later. Either way, you're gonna have
That's
to
what I
pay for it because there's not enough money to do
But Gary, you are only paying once for the engineering for this design.
Yeah.
It's not redone.
Right.
Only one-time pay, but pretty much just to speed up the process, and we probably wouldn't have enough money to do a complete project anyway in the grant funding, basically, so.
Yeah,
if
right
we
now,
wait-
we're just looking south of Bayou La Croix for
Yeah.
this project.
Yes.
Because it's about twice to go north and take care of really exit
This
exit
is what the
13.
original scope was that we were looking at, was south of Bayou La Croix, all the roads and all in that area.
Who moves
To-
utilities that's in the right of way when we do something like this? Like I noticed by the fire station, they just put a fiber optic junction box right there and bored under the road, and it's probably what the turn lane's gonna be probably, you know?
Probably is.
Yeah, stuff like that. So do we have to fund to move down, or do they, since it's in the right of way, whoever put it there? Or?
Hopefully the box is highway rated, and I'm sure MDOT require them to make it highway rated box. But usually they do have to relocate those utilities.
Okay, I was just curious. 'Cause
And there's a population cutoff as to whether or not who's responsible for, relocating something that's in the right of way.
Because since we started this project, fiber optics come along and with a few obstacles that wasn't there 2 years ago or 3 years ago when we started.
So what funds is coming out of?
Well, the fiber optics, they would have to locate that.
Yeah, relocate, yeah.
Yeah, they would do that.
We can take it out of the,
Modernization used, is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
infrastructure,
I don't,
we can take, you know,
what infrastructure, modernization?
yes, modernization,
So we got 400,455 in there, or 303 actually.
and we just, I think we're moving some
Just
money
moved
in there
something on
tonight.
this docket, didn't we?
Yeah,
Like-
303 is what our, after the docket was paid.
Yeah, I think we're moving some in there.
We owed 72,000, so 376, once we get reimbursed, is what today's cash balance says. So today's cash balance should be up to date with what we moved in the docket, or it will update after we approve the docket.
Based on the receivable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just.
Yes, no.
Yes, I know, right? We add more money after this docket, so next week it'll be up 300 more thousand or something. I don't know that answer. I'm just asking. I asked you first.
We get it during the summer.
Yeah.
I don't know if we had it yet.
I don't know if we got the second check or not.
Okay,
Generally
I'm
get it
just,
during the summer.
that's fine.
It
Right now.
should be, but I don't know if we have.
You talking about road and bridge?
Modernization
The
used.
sales tax.
We've gotten
we
our
had
road and
sales
bridge
tax.
pretty much.
We got both of them?
As far as I know, we've only got one so far.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't see it on the,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just
If
seen
they
a big
got it,
transfer on the
then
docket.
get it, we'll have to move it over.
Riso,
Mhm.
settle down, settle down.
And my main concern for pushing this is, I don't think we have enough money when we get the grant funds, but also I've had calls from constituents that's going to turn off 603, and there's no
Yeah.
turning lane, and
Run up
people are
behind
right
you.
on their tailgate,
Yeah.
and you gotta turn at 50 miles an hour,
Right.
40 miles an hour, and you're
That's
looking at
bad.
the other lane.
Yeah, it's bad.
And the sad part is MDOT, we get a new guy coming first of the year. Hopefully, he'll step up and try to help us.
Yeah.
But what we have up there now,
Well, they tell you flat out, it ain't about the accidents.
No.
They tell you flat out, it ain't about how many accidents you have.
it's about like the water,
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly, they tell you that.
So,
Yeah.
um,
so.
No, no
so,
problem.
all right, okay, so,
Need a motion?
yes, sir,
Motion to
please.
approve Highway 603 turn-in lane modification, work order 15-007-025 for a total of $47,840 to be taken out of modernization use tax.
Motion, Mr. Seal, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, no block. Any further discussion? Vote to motion?
Aye.
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 Aye, thank y'all. Next up, Mr. Kenichi.
Alrighty, thank you for that. The next item, is
Ireland Street.
geotechnical report. So this is, we've been working on a hazard mitigation grant for MEMA for probably over a year, I guess.
Quite
What
a
we're
while.
trying to focus on, the paving project previously addressed some concerns and some issues on First Avenue. So our main focus has been Ireland Drive, and then Elaine Street, the end of Elaine. What we've seen on Ireland Drive is, the original grant was written to raise it about 12 inches. Of course, now you gotta tie in sidewalks and driveways, and there's drainage improvements and all that. Once we started evaluating the structure and the road out there, there was some concern that I had about settlement. So if we add another 12 inches of asphalt, that's a lot of weight. of what's gonna happen to the
Sink down,
subbase,
huh?
so we don't wanna make it any worse, so.
Mhm.
What we're recommending is to get a geotech to take some soil borings, about 3 or 4 of them, down the center line of the street, so we can develop a plan for the subgrade to see if there's any, issues with adding that 12 inches of asphalt. I think it's, the report is in here, or the proposal's in here. It's $4,680, which I think is a good insurance policy, just so we can be sure that we're not making a bad situation even worse.
Yes, sir.
Once we have that, then we can finalize what repairs or what, improvements we can make to the
No.
street.
Y'all just muck that out? I mean, I think we had some mucking issues that other places were sinking, huh? Or how do you
Yeah.
fix it if it
Well,
shows?
I don't know how
So
you
that's a
muck
very
it,
unique
right?
street
I
because
don't
you
know how
got
you muck it.
you got a concrete driveway or concrete road that's already there, and then we
Oh.
paved it a few years ago with,
Okay.
the first round of bond funds, so, I'd really rather avoid trying to,
I know one street we dug out because we was having issues with sinking,
Yeah.
and I don't remember what it was, but.
It's
I mean,
almost
it can make it a lot
peninsula.
worse if
Yeah.
you start digging that stuff up,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hopefully the concrete will be a good base,
Okay.
and we can build up from there, and that'll bridge any issues, but.
Cool.
Jason, right near Ireland, right off of Ireland, we was doing, out there digging a hole for some reason, putting a culvert in or something, we first got that area, and we hit, debris about 3 foot below the surface. It wasn't at the top, that was all nice, pretty fill. Then we got 3 feet deep, we hit, just sand, gravel, just anything under the sun was in there, and don't know how it got there. Somebody said when they were digging those roads, they just dug a hole down there and threw everything out the hole, whatever fell up there, that was what the road base was.
Over there,
Wouldn't doubt
Boulevard,
that.
whatever,
Yeah.
Oaks, where
Yep.
Emmy and them live,
Okay.
Yeah, the Woods Plate,
Wood Place.
Yeah.
yeah, they started digging up
Back in
stumps and trash.
Just for a
Wow.
heads up,
Yeah. Good deal.
don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Motion to approve geotechnical investigation for Ireland Street
Motion.
project improvements.
Okay. Motion, Mr. Seal.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Vote to motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Ms. Noblock is out the room. Next up,
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Yes,
The
sir.
next item is a motion to authorize the execution and submission, the application, the NRCS main drain debris removal and bank stabilization project. So there's lots of information.
Motion, and you should all have the printout version of this because it's in the estimated total project amount of approximately 2.3 million, and you're also committing your local matching funds in the amount of 17.5%, which shall not exceed 375,000.
okay.
So somehow there's a mix-up, and that wasn't.
So why
y'all
is our
should all-
match 17%?
That's how
what they
NRCS
said.
has these grants.
Okay,
Yeah, that's stipulated from them.
okay.
All right.
Sorry, Jason,
Yes.
but I wanted to make sure that was in the motion.
No, that's all right.
Question. Looked like it was approved back in 21. Is that
I
correct?
think it was, yeah.
The legislature approved every year, they approved funding until it was finally
Okay. All right.
appropriated, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this has been in our report for
Yes.
probably the past
I
2
know.
years. We've
Yeah,
had many
every
updates
year, the
that we-
Senate and legislature have
Yeah.
reappropriated the funding.
I think we need to clean all these main drains, cause
Yep.
if we don't dig them out, all
And
these
it-
ditches in the city can't drain out,
Yeah, so what this does too is, they're looking to clean out the debris, and they tied it back to a rain event. Some of that debris has already been removed, but there's also some sedimentation, some dirt that's washing into it. So there's a bank stabilization component of this, which is basically riprap, grout the riprap so that it doesn't cave in, so the banks are stabilized, so we don't have to go in and keep cleaning these things out. So, it's about 2.3 million, like Heather said. When they looked at the city, they estimated about 67,000 feet of ditch, to be included in this. So I don't know how far 2.3 million is gonna go today, but, we can definitely look at the worst areas and identify them. But this would just be to submit the grant application and then for the motion, or for the resolution approving the match.
So, but if we submit this grant application, basically, we're committing 375,000. I mean, can we still turn it down if we decide not to do it at that point, or are we committing the 375 and?
Does the resolution stipulate that?
So all of these things, you're,
I mean, just
we'll have a follow-up
because it
grant
said approximately
agreement.
2.3 million and commit local matching funds in the amount of 17.5%,
Yes.
which shall not exceed 375. So obviously, if they don't give us the 2.3, they give us 1.5, we're only doing 17.5%, not the full.
Well, your obligation
7.5,
is
but-
the two.
But our obligation is to pay that.
No, the grant amount is
2.3.
stipulated,
It's
is
already
2.3,
determined,
right.
So,
If it
but-
goes over that 2.3, then we either have to secure additional funds from NRCS, which they can add some fundage to it, or we have to scale the project back, or the city could come up with it.
okay,
But
but
we won't know that until we bid it out.
We are committing to fund this, basically, if we receive it. We vote on this tonight. That's the way I'm reading this motion.
I mean, yeah, so I don't know a lot about this, so Jason, jump in at any time. But all of this stuff, when you send these resolutions and you're committing them, I mean, is there going to be grant agreements and stuff that come afterwards that you have to approve? Absolutely. Could you deny it? You could, but you probably wouldn't be getting another award. And so, I mean, so when you do stuff, especially like this, I mean, I would do it with the
With the
full
intent of going
intention
forward.
of, yeah, basically I would go ahead and plan for $375,000 to be spent towards this project.
Yeah, but how are we gonna do that when we have 38 projects already in the way that we have, they're not all fully funded? I mean, this is a big number.
This is, again, I don't have our list with us as far as the funds we have. But again, you know, some of it can come out of the, sales tax diversion, some of it from the road and bridge that we have. There's numerous places we can get the funding from.
I'd say consider the timing also, because we've been working on this for 2 years. I couldn't tell you when this thing is gonna be approved and ready to, to bid out, so.
Might be another 2 or 3
It could be,
years before we
it
get
could be next year's budget.
Yeah.
As far as we're, as far as we know.
Yeah, in the map with
I
all
think
the
it would
red,
definitely be next year, just from the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, NRCS is,
well, some of that
It's
stuff.
not designed, right?
oh, no.
Yeah,
No.
so, I mean, so if
Yeah,
you
we don't even know
gotta
the scope of
agree
work yet.
tomorrow,
Or what area, you know,
and
what
by
was
the time
Not
you went
permitted.
to
All these
engineering,
ditches need
yeah.
permitting,
I
so
was
it's,
saying, a lot of that's, some of that's in wetlands and
oh, yeah.
other stuff, some of the
Yeah.
main drains.
If you got a
Be a
grant
good time to get in
tomorrow
there
and
now,
says,
though,
told
when the
Jason
water's
to
low and
go, you'd be
everything's dry.
over a year out on
At least a
construction.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And 375 is a lot, but 2.3 is a whole lot. No, a free $2 million isn't a
I agree.
bad deal.
So
I mean,
you're looking, yeah, you're
We would
looking
never have the
almost,
money in house to do the whole
you're looking at-
project
No.
ourselves. So,
I know that.
almost $2.7 million project you're looking with our match.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
so, oh, yeah, I just,
Yeah, it's just, it's just the end of the day, understanding where you're gonna pay from it, right?
yeah.
I'm not gonna go buy a new car and worry about paying for it tomorrow. I need to understand where I'm gonna pay for it, cause it's, I got our sheet out here, master project list from, 7/13/23, and it's funding not obligated. There's nothing, showing where we're gonna get this money from.
Right.
So we can look back and, our cash balances, right, again, 2 years, 3 years out. If financial situation should change, we can walk away from this grant, right? If we
Well-
can't pay for it. Or we are required, once we say yes, we're required to take it. I'm sure they can't make us take it if we can't afford it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it would
again,
just- yeah.
from that standpoint, it's just, okay, it's like the 603, where we're gonna pay for it from. Well, okay, we see that, where we're gonna get 375,000 from. Well, is that next year, year after? That's kind of the comfort level that,
What about talking with the county? Didn't they do something with a lot of the big drainage projects? No, Sienna Lane, didn't we split some of the cost on that with them or something? They have more funding they might be able to help us with, because some of these main drains would still
Right.
probably
yeah,
help
good
in the
point.
county too.
Right.
I mean,
I
We
can
are
answer
part of
that.
Lafayette
I think
County.
Aldergo Mesa is
Unless they get any additional.
committed, so unless
Yeah.
they get additional funding coming down,
all that's committed
I'm,
already.
yeah, I'm pretty
That's what-
positive. Like, I know all their ARPA is committed. I believe Aldergo Mesa is committed too, and I mean, they may would, but I know they have sent, they've sent a pretty good amount of Go Mesa here.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's what
I would,
just saying.
I would
didn't
feel
know.
bad asking them for more of that
Yeah.
pot of money, because they've been so generous to us on it.
Yeah, oh yeah, Go Mesa, $1 million, Pier 5.
Yeah.
all that, so, some other stuff, I guess.
James,
We could
it's
put
all
in a
the
grant,
ones-
we could put in something for Go Mesa, couldn't we, for drainage?
Not really Go Mesa. unless we could somehow maybe fit it under hurricane protection.
Well, drainage.
I think it would be
What about road and bridge funds?
it would stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can use road and bridge.
Road and bridge, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we have the road and bridge, we have the modernization tax.
I just don't know.
Fire truck will be up, you know, that'll be up in the next year there, you know, so there's funds, you know, coming available on it. This, again, this could be at least a year away, I would think, time frame. You know, I wish it was tomorrow, we could get started on it, but,
Yeah, can we, so, I know Rizzo gave us a project list, and I know we've committed the modernization use tax funds for some of the grants and stuff already, right? So
Yeah.
what have we committed in this budget year?
I don't have the budget.
Right, and just, that's kinda like, you know, we say we got money.
Not all of it, I do.
Not
know
all,
that,
yeah, but what is not all, you know, again, I don't know either, I'm just asking questions.
I don't have it.
Trying to figure out where we're at on the budget standpoint. Because yes, we will have to pay the piper at some point. It's a great idea. Great to get $2.3 million if I can afford it. But if I can't, then
I like to look at this, push this to the next meeting so that, I can have time to kind of review this project list that we have. I'm just not comfortable with it.
yeah, I'd just like really to understand what we committed, right? And I know we said we pay for this from road bridge. We'll get so much for this. We'll modernization use tax so much for this. If we could get those numbers for next meeting.
Yeah.
And they probably got a button they can push and get all these.
Oh, it's in our
absolute-
budget what we have committed.
Yeah.
Is there a due date on this, Jason?
Initially, it was August 15th, but we told them we wanted to bring it to the council, so they gave it till the 29th or 30th. I think they gave it to the 29th.
So we have a week.
Well, y'all got some work to do.
Well, no, y'all don't, we won't meet
Have a
before
special
then.
meeting. So. I think we got time to find the money, in my opinion. And I think if we gotta look at that list, we gotta go back to the argument we had a couple of years ago, need versus want. Do we need boardwalks? Do we need this? Do we need drainage in the city, you know?
yeah.
Or just
Well,
not
y'all
board,
voted for
necessarily
boardwalks.
not boardwalk, I'm just saying, we got
No,
30
we-
projects
You know,
there.
yeah, we got a lot of projects, you know,
Do we
whether
need
it's
more
sidewalk,
street
whether
lights? Do we need
lights here
what's
on down,
important? I mean,
you know, do we need the lights? Do we need the sidewalk?
bunch of
Do we
things,
need the
yeah.
drainage?
We'll make a recommendation.
We're recommending this right here, right now.
Yeah.
You know, the funds is there.
So we got
Yeah.
$280,000.
This is a much more important project than fancy streetlights,
Yeah.
you
So we
know,
got,
which is almost half or pretty close to, or more than half of what this match would be.
So you're recommending that we cut the streetlight project out?
I'm not recommending we cut it out, but I think you have mentioned it, but that's not first on my priority list.
Right.
This flooding and drainage is a lot more important to me because, one, you know, we have issues with it. Water's gotta go somewhere. It affects everybody in the city. Two, we gotta, I can't tell you how many hundreds or thousands of these streetlights already, and when they're put in, we still have to put
Which
overhead
streetlight
lighting in
project
the
you
area.
talking about, Mike?
Huh?
Which streetlight project you
Like,
talking about?
like going down, all the way down to Old Spanish Trail and all, you know? I mean, is that needed right now? That's not out there right now, you know, to come up. That might be a couple years down the road, so.
But we committed
that's
funds for
26.
that?
yeah, we don't
I
have,
don't know, I don't have our budget
yeah, we don't have
in
any
front
funds
of me,
committed for
but
that
there
this year.
is stuff, you know, committed to the project. You know, we're looking at, what is it, Byers Street, hopefully we get that, Washington Street, finally, I think that's been 7 years, 8 years, I don't know, talking about it.
2 terms.
2 terms.
Yeah,
could've done
I was on
Byers
the
Street
council when we
in-house.
approved these back then, you know?
Yeah, 2016.
You know, it's not like all these projects on that list is gonna, unless Jason's got an answer, they not gonna all break loose this year.
Well, wasn't an issue on the lighting and procuring the actual lighting poles themselves when they were backlogged on that, or no?
On the lighting?
Yeah.
No,
Are they
I don't
But
know.
the project just hasn't.
It
been
hadn't been
activated.
turned loose yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
You know,
an NDOT
it's,
project too.
it's about like
2026.
Byers Street and Washington Street. It's been out there for a
Yeah.
few years as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, Pine Street's out there,
And-
which is another, you know, area in desperate need of sidewalk. You know, I think Buyer Ranch, you know, connecting all that. Then you got Subi Street, I think it is, in there, project
was
list for
approved.
Subi Street, Felicity Street.
Felicity.
You know, it's big area, but it's not likely you know, that we're getting funding for them. Again, we've been waiting on these for 7, 8 years.
Right.
You know?
And I'm not
And
trying to
so-
say one project was anybody else's less important than the other. I'm just saying, I think
No.
if we prove it tonight, we got plenty of time over the year or two to look at projects,
Yeah.
see
This-
when they're
this
gonna
isn't
come
something we
in.
have to fund
And if we
tomorrow.
really get into a pickle,
Well,
we can look and
listen,
say, what's
so
really
this
in
is the thing.
priority.
But again, you can always say no to this.
Yeah.
Well, we always have this discussion.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get an eye to hit us, and it wipes out the whole budget. So, I mean, if y'all wanna take a project off that's not gonna go, then let's do that and start saving the money and stop paying engineering fees and all other kind of fees that we're throwing out the window.
Well, I
just so
don't
we
think
could
we're
wait.
paying engineering fees on the lighting and things like that that's on hold right now.
No, the lighting, I mean, everything is already there. All you do is.
Yeah, the wiring's
put-
there.
Yeah.
The wiring is
Light
there,
it up.
but the match on that's about $200 and something thousand, if I'm not mistaken.
150.
That was a
Nope.
6-year ago cost.
Right.
You know,
That was in the
whatever.
original
you know.
sidewalk
So do
But
we need
again,
to,
you
Right.
put these lights up, and nobody's thought about upkeep on these lights for the years. You
Oh,
can look at the bases starting to, we're gonna have major problems with what we already have. Again, when we put these lights up, we come back and have to add overhead lights sometimes to create enough light. Old Spanish Trail's a very big, busy road. You know, do these lights need to be on it? It's something to think about. I'm not saying they do or they don't, but it's something to think about when we start putting these projects out there. You know, what to prioritize. Drainage is important. To me, it's more important than the street lights, cause we have overhead lights that serve the purpose on Old Spanish Trail. We want pretty Bay St. Louis lights every 10 feet, so somebody knows they in Bay St. Louis, that's another thing, you know? But is the need really there for these street lights? You know,
and
we can call Mississippi Power for $15, whatever it is, $13, $18 a month to put an overhead street light up there to
Well,
supply.
I don't wanna compare projects.
No, I don't
but
either.
No.
But I
But
do,
you
I
ask
do
where we're
think
getting the
that-
money from,
Yeah.
this is where we're going.
But I do think the drainage is more important than the street lights. And I would prioritize the draining over the street lights, but I wouldn't kick the street lights.
No,
out.
I'm not saying we kick it out,
Right.
but I'm saying, you know, again, you're asking where we're getting funds from. We have funds that's available. Do I know exactly where right now, or what's left into the budget? I don't have the budget in front of me, you know, but
just a-
again, it's that.
Yeah.
If we get into a situation with another forbid, you know, Zeta or something where we use our money up, again, this is a FEMA project in reality. I'm sure they're gonna understand and say, hey, we just can't do it right now, you know? Maybe they'll fund it 100 or 95% instead of the, whatever it is, 82 and 3/4, whatever it is.
maybe we know, just start earmarking a little money each year for some of these projects that take 7 years, so when, we ain't gotta worry about funding out of one budget cycle, we put
Yeah.
20,000 a year for this project and
Well,
30,000 for
originally
that one
back,
into an
we
account.
did set
earmark
money
it.
aside, but it just keeps pushing down the road, but it's in our capital fund every year, you know, that if we get these, you know, this is the match, what we think. Sit down with Jason, this is the project we're hoping we can get done, but again, we hoped last year for Washington and Bayer and all, and I think we're getting close now.
Yeah.
But in reality, you know, those funds have been set aside, it's just, they hadn't happened, and we've got more projects coming in.
Yeah.
That's creating the same, you know, like Gary said, we got a list of, I don't know, we got 40 projects on the board or something, you know, total, not just, you know, the MDOT money and projects like that, but there's other projects out there.
No, same,
You know, we're getting ready to get the street repairs for, what is that, 1.5, 1.6 million?
For Ida.
For
You know-
Ida, same thing. That's gonna be, I think, a 5% match with that, I think. You know, so, you know, 5%, you know, again, we prioritize, spend 5% to get $1.6 million. I think that's, you know,
75,000.
very good. You know, spend 75,000 to get a 1.6 million.
Yep.
We're not gonna find that many times. We're very fortunate, you know, and they've worked with MEMA and everybody and FEMA and everything to get these projects going and all for the last 2 years probably at least, you know, since Zeta and all, and it's just how long it takes. Shoot, I see where Biloxi's still doing Katrina
Katrina,
projects over
it
there.
blows me away how in the hell
And
they,
I can't
mean,
figure this out, where they getting you know, still
yeah.
getting Katrina money
I
from.
know. They're
You
like,
know?
y'all hurry up and get done, and they just
Yeah.
breaking ground last year.
And I'm not talking about small.
Oh, no.
This is
Oh, yeah,
major
redoing the whole
projects.
city.
Yeah,
So,
go ride through Biloxi.
Yeah.
So, I know we talked about like, and I'm getting off the subject just a little bit, just for a second. So like Good and Fiber Street, didn't they talk about dredging those?
That's an,
Whatever happened with that?
We're scanning the water bottom. We started with Edwards Bayou last week. We're kind of starting from there and working our way back towards good fiber and all.
And I
that.
can get that later back into your report, I just.
Yeah.
The soil sample came back where it was usable. Spoils
Well, we're
would-
doing a hydrographic survey right now. We still gotta pull the samples, send them off to get tested. That's
yeah,
in our
we're
scope of
hoping that
work.
can join
But Jason,
in,
all
you know,
these,
across the
lines in red, that's the project lines? The ditches that you want cleaned? Main drains?
I think that's what they identified.
Look like blue might be.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are some of the main drains. There's a list of all the drainage channels that they had in that report. But basically, the map covers the whole city pretty much.
When some of them pages are sideways, it makes it hard to read on the computer.
Yeah.
When they scan
So,
it in, 'cause it
this
throws it off.
project is gonna cover these red lines? These are the main drains that need cleaning?
That's what it looks like to me.
That's the majority of them. The sheet the following page has all the
Names.
latitude, longitudes, and all the locations.
This is main drain removal and bank stabilization, so do you think that the red might be main drains and the blue might be
Well, they got a
bank
number on 'em.
stabilization?
Well, the blue is just waterways, like
It's just
canals and bayous. I mean, most of your main drains are gonna be identified as the red line.
In the red?
Yeah.
Did we take into consideration of the study that the county did on these drainage areas and everything? I know Ronnie was part of that study.
We did.
We did? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize execution and submission of the application for the NRCS main drain debris removal and bank stabilization project and the estimated total project amount of approximately 2.3 million, and commit local matching funds in the amount of 17.5%, which shall not exceed $375,000.
Motion, Mr. Hoffman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Zimmerman. Any further discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Thank
Thank you.
y'all. Next,
Thank you.
E.
The next item is a work order or an amendment for some construction inspection services. This is for the sewer rod city rehab project. If you recall, we've got it broken down into phase one, which is the CCTV and cleaning. It'll clean all the mains, video them, so then we can start looking at what repairs we have to make. The project is kind of a rolling target where we think that the total cost would be around 12.5 million to repair all the drainage, all the sewer lines, the gravity sewer mains in the city. We have about 8.5, so we're trying to secure the additional funds to restore Go Mesa. So what we did with the original contract was to set it up that we would have everything designed, permitted as we're seeking all these additional funds. So we weren't sure what construction services we would have to have on that original contract. This is based off of a 4-month contract, 120 days for the CC and TV, and it's hourly. Anything that's remaining at the end of that phase just rolls over into the next phase when we actually start making the repairs to the sewer lines. And they are looking to get started on this probably at the end of August. They had some scheduling conflict with some other project, which is why they haven't started yet. But so this would be to cover inspection services for that project.
So we just adding $81,600 to this
Right.
scope of work.
And that's gonna be billed at the regular hourly rate depending on
Yes.
which person.
Yeah, just for an inspector. Yeah. Everything else is included as far as our construction administration time.
Okay. So the amendments for 81,600 total adjusted $841,683.33.
So these are paying through the ARPA fund, correct?
Yeah, that'll be reimbursed. It'll be submitted for reimbursement through them.
Okay.
Motion. Motion, Mr. Seal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Zimmerman. Any further discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Final item we have is for the harbor repairs. So we have, really it's broken up into 2 phases. We're still working on the dredging, from a mitigation standpoint and cost standpoint with FEMA. So we're gonna go ahead and proceed with the other harbor repairs, which includes the south wall. There's a mitigation component with that wall as well to rebuild the entire wall with the tieback system. That south ramp is gonna be rebuilt.
I know, right?
They wrote the scope of work. We didn't have much to say so on that one. But there's the wall at the end of the fishing pier is damaged. The wave screen underneath is broke loose. There's some drainage modifications in the parking lot. Railing, some aluminum railing that needs to be replaced. So this is to go out for bid for those repairs, everything except for the dredge.
Where the funds for those coming?
It's FEMA funded, so,
We gotta
This
fund
is-
it, we gotta
Yeah.
front it, and then they.
Part of
Yeah, this is that grant, Gary, that 1.6 or whatever we took out for the harbor?
1.8
loan,
million.
yeah,
That loan we brought.
Yeah.
The loan.
Not grant, I'm sorry, the loan on that.
Right.
Yes, to fund this project, well, reimbursements, okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to authorize the city engineer to advertise for the construction bids for the harbor repairs.
Motion, Mr. Hoffman.
Second.
No block. Any
Why
further
would-
discussion?
Why would they wanna tie the wall into the main wall, south wall? That's crazy.
Cause it moves.
I try to convince them, let's just add the tiebacks and leave the sheet pile there, but they wanted to
Ask Doug Seal 12 years ago.
rebuild the
Dumb
whole wall.
design. Oh, this is how they designed it. They're world professionals. Well, now it fell over and, they didn't tie it in together.
Well, that is gonna be included is to tie it back.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
actually, we're adding riprap on the outside
Yeah.
to help shore up that south wall.
Yeah, we identified this deficiency when we had the design review.
Yeah, all right. Motion Hoffman.
It held up fine until the storm.
Yeah, right?
Second, no
Till the
block.
wave hit.
Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 We had plenty of
Aye.
discussion.
Aye, passes 7-0. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you for that. The one discussion item I wanted, I think that's all that's on the list.
That's all the action.
All the action. So there's some ranking forms, and it's not on my report, but it's in the report. It's not identified as a discussion item, but I still wanted to mention it to you guys. With the Department of Health loan, your water well is currently out for public comment. And again, that's roughly 2.6 million. We're being told that they strongly consider that to be 100% funded or forgiven. We won't know until we get the actual loan documents. But in our meeting that we had with them a couple weeks ago, Department of Health, they recommended that we submit an additional ranking form for some additional improvements to the water system. We know we have undersized water lines, and we're even looking at maybe some storage capacity issues. So what we have in here are two forms, just to submit to get in line for funding. She did indicate that they should have enough money for next year's loans for those to be also 100% forgiven.
Wow.
So she highly recommended that we submit the paperwork now to get in line for next year. Again, there's no commitment to any of these projects or any of these costs that we have in the ranking forms. We just need the mayor to execute those, so we wanted to be sure that we brought that to you guys for your
So we might
attention.
need another water tank?
But that,
You said we're gonna need another water tank possibly?
well, once you get to about 85% of your storage capacity, then you have to start looking at the improvement.
Is there
Right
some
now, we're close to it.
motion or something? I mean, we don't have any forms or anything, right?
I don't think we need a motion, because it's
up to
just to
mayor.
submit the information to the
Okay.
Department of Health, but I guess it's more of a FYI type.
We know about it.
Yeah.
Now, with this, new water well, how does that improve? Because the report come out that we have we're in the top 10, the worst water in the state.
That's not true.
It's Hancock County.
Hancock
as a
County.
whole, the BPA.
Someone
It's-
called
it's-
us,
it's
that's
the-
false.
It's
That's
the,
not even close.
yeah, it's the BP, it's
Don't
the,
spread that,
it's
please.
the
Well,
BPA
I mean,
something.
that's what the report said. Yeah.
Not Bay St. Louis.
It's
Well,
the
Hancock
plastic.
County, it said
That's
Hancock
not
County.
Bay St. Louis.
No.
We're
Well-
Bay St. Louis.
Well, we're in Hancock County though, Mike,
We don't buy Hancock County water.
but we're in Hancock County.
It's a,
Believe
it's
what
a,
you want.
it's a
in.
chemical compound
But
that's
that's
found
not
in,
even,
in the
that's
water
not even close.
system.
We're
Yeah.
Bay St. Louis. We purchase our own, we make our own water.
Right.
We don't buy from them. Hancock County water is that, Bay St. Louis, Waveland, Pastor Diamond Head, all separate.
So that's a good reason that we don't need to hook up to their well then.
Well, it's what they call the chemicals that never go away, and that's what they're testing for. and that they're finding high levels of the,
Yeah, I mean,
not BPA, but
right
something.
now, we're
Western
finding
locations.
copper in our
I
waste.
have no idea where they found them at.
Yes.
You know, our copper in our waste has exceeded. Now I think it may even be starting to show up in other ones. But where's it coming from? Man, we're running around all over, taking samples out of this manhole or that manhole, trying to find out where this is coming from. You know, and originally it was below what was acceptable, and all of a sudden it's bounced up and bounced up, and so we're having to trace everything through, and David's been helping us on that, try to come up and do testing, getting it done for us and all. So we have no idea where it's coming from.
Right.
That's in our wastewater, right?
That's in our wastewater.
Okay,
Yeah. But it's gotta be treated,
right.
and the cost of that treatment is, I don't know, I think we budgeted 30 or 40,000 in the utility authority for treatment of this.
Right.
Added, so it's an added expense that we're looking at, which,
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't need a motion on that? That was just for FYI?
Just letting you guys know we're gonna
Yes,
submit
sir.
the form.
Thank you, sir. Anything else for Ms. Kenichi from council?
I'm good.
Anything for, thank you, sir.
That's all I
So,
have.
just to clarify on that Good and Fiber Street, so, y'all getting ready to, y'all doing sampling now?
Yeah, we're doing, what y'all approved us to do is a hydrographic survey to determine what the water bottoms are, so we can calculate how much material can be removed. And then also pull samples from different areas so that we can get those tested to see if it's gonna be beneficial use material or not. So we gotta know how much we need to take out and where we can put it before we can start getting permits.
Run me a couple of those, I got some holes.
Yeah.
Can't be that bad.
Got some holes in the yard?
That's what built that whole area.
Yeah.
Still adding so much.
Yeah. All right.
But to make it beneficial use for marsh restoration, that's what we're hoping for.
Yes. Let's hope so.
Because
When do you
DEQ
think that'll be completed?
DEQ has money for that.
Yeah, this is.
If it's beneficial use material, then they have money from Restore that'll fund their.
When do you think that'll be finished?
We'll probably, I would say 2 to 3 months by the time we scan everything and get the samples back.
No, that was the only time during election season.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next up, city clerk's report. Motion to approve the Bay St. Louis docket of claims number 23-035 dated August 22nd, 2023 in the amount of $1,473,268.67. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Seal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Any discussion?
Yeah, just a splash pad. What's up with that bill?
oh,
$2,080.
yeah, discussion, it shows, they've been out there, they've been monitoring and everything.
Uses that much water?
Doing the
It's all
summer,
the time.
it seems like that's what they're using. We,
Do we have a sprinkler meter hooked up to that, so we're not paying wastewater?
no, we're not paying wastewater. I think 1 point something million gallons was used.
It's running. I mean, and the people using it,
That's
it's
what I'm
just
saying.
running.
Hopefully now it
People
screws
out
back in and,
every day.
Goes
and
down.
everything, it goes way
Yeah.
down.
That's cool. No, I mean, I wouldn't, we looked at it and talked about it
No,
before.
we had
Yeah.
this discussion
I know.
today.
Yep. All right.
I had one question. I think it was TECES. Looked like double bills. I mean, was that,
6,000.
yeah, 2 months worth or something? We paid that one time, cause the date all shows the same date. But
Which one is that, Josh? I'm sorry.
33,202
Telephone system.
telephone systems. Like 2 admin finance, 2 building departments, 2 public works,
Yeah, it's gotta be,
same amount. So you just check on that. Let me know if you
I
want.
will.
I just didn't get to check the docket till later today, so, alright. Okay, motion Seal, second Hoffman. Any further discussion?
Actually, I
Vote.
think it was, yeah, that's right.
Okay, alright. I try to write it down, 'cause I
Yeah.
can't remember. Vote to motion?
Aye.
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 Aye, passes 7-0. Thank you. B, motion to approve the Bay St. Louis docket of claims number 23-036 special dated August 22nd, 2023, in an amount of $300,000. Motion, Mr. Seal. Do you have a second? Second, Mr. Lewis. Any discussion? Vote to motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Consent agenda. we did C already, so remove that.
Yeah.
Okay. So consent agenda. Caitlin printed front and back, got me all messed up here. Items
AC.
A through AC, minus C.
Just a question, on item B, on the lease agreement with Butte Holdings, what was that final cost estimation of putting those in? Do we have, arrive
The
at-
parking?
Yeah.
I got it, let's see. Bodegas, Cuz, let's see. Looks like this is on both sides of the road, all the parking improvements back there. Looks like, I think it's 13,000.
That's cheap.
That's not doing anything on the corner where there'll be more parking, you know, when you take a right on the corner.
So we're doing, it's 21 vehicle spots and 39 golf carts? Is that what
It's a total of 26 cars, 4 handicap, 7 golf carts in that area.
But then there's additional
22 in the gravel area.
in the gravel.
Right.
10 golf cart, 10 paved parking for golf
Yeah.
carts, 22 gravel parking spots, 23 cars and 4 handicaps.
But that, on,
Yeah, that's a good price if you're gonna do that for $16,000.
yeah, and what this is, we're gonna go in and do the groundwork, dig it out, put the base down with the asphalt millings.
Right.
Use the county contract to come back in and use, the ones that did the boat launch, those people, and come back in and do it. And with that, we talked about before redoing Bodega's parking lot, you know, the city parking lot behind Bodega's.
Yeah.
Also the parking lot by Cousins there is included.
Right.
And then over in front of Community Hall,
Right.
we're looking at doing, at the walkway going in, some area in there to, you know, just parallel parking along through there and all, you know, doing some asphalt work in there. Total price of that was $48,809 for all that.
Yeah, we need to do something more defined in front of that community center, make it.
Yeah.
11 spots with 2 handicaps.
This also takes up some where they took the road out, you know, the road we took out,
Mm-hmm.
creating, I think it was 1 or 2 spots in there,
Yep.
along with
2 handicap and
some
2
golf
regular
carts
cars.
in there.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, did we,
That's good.
so with all the golf carts, how did we arrive? Because right now I know there's parking spots that are right across from Alice Mosley and the depot. I mean, the kind of the vertical ones, they don't get utilized a whole lot. I don't see a lot of golf carts trying to park in there. So is that anticipation of services coming for Amtrak, or
which
I'm
ones,
just curious.
Kyle?
The ones that we currently have on there now. What is that on? What's that?
Blade.
Bookter.
On Blade?
Is that Blade? Yeah, Blade.
On the depot side?
Yeah.
I think it's more when special events are
Yeah.
coming,
Yeah.
right?
But don't they let us park there anyway? I mean, when there are a few special events, they park on the grass, right?
Yeah. This is to find the parking spots moving on down the road towards Al Kingston's old building.
Hope we can get some more established businesses back there and grow that area, you know. Before we had some business back there, it stayed pretty busy, and hopefully Blind Tiger runs some land along with Uncle
Yeah, he's
Joe's.
open now, you know, the
Get a couple more stables
the
like
meat
that.
market part
Mm-hmm.
is probably a month or so away, 6 weeks maybe.
Yep.
Knowing him is liable to open next week.
Mhm.
He's going quick as he can back there on that, you know, so.
And there's no plans to like sublease this section in here with these golf carts? So no business is gonna be able to rent this space out and store their golf carts on it, right?
That we're building?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
It'd be all the way across the street from the depot.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be right by.
Yeah, they'll be on that side over there. Then there's on that corner down that way, you know.
And we did take out, because I saw it must have been recently taken out, because it didn't make sense to me that we had a provision in there that would allow sale of alcohol on that area as long as there's a uniformed officer, a guard, but it doesn't look like it's in there anymore.
On our ordinance,
Okay.
sale of what?
The other one, and I left it in there, quite frankly, because you never know what really the city was going to, so I left it in there and they took it out.
We do have that on Commerce.
This is on the other side.
Yeah, Comagé we can't. So I left it in here with this just because of the proximity to the depot district and thinking about you know, festivals or if anything like that came to come, so I left it in there for that reason.
So I had Hoffman and no block on that one. Did we vote that one?
What's that?
No. Motion, Mr. Hoffman for consent agenda, correct, and no block second the motion? Didn't-
Yeah,
Which
I
one?
don't think we made one on the consent.
Oh, we didn't make,
I
okay.
don't think we made a motion on
All
the
right,
consent agenda.
I
yet.
just wrote down. All right, so last one on this list.
Right in the head, buddy, right in the head.
I know. So I need a motion for the consent agenda.
All right, so I'll make a motion.
Okay. Motion, Mr. Hoffman. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Seal. Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Aye.
All right, passes 6-1. Mr. Lewis was a nay. Okay. Minutes approval. City Council first regular meeting, August 8th, 2023. Can we make these in one motion?
Yeah, you can.
And recess meeting, August 10th, 2023, 5:30 PM. Do I have a motion?
Motion and no corrections.
Motion, Mr. Seal.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Sorry, son.
Aye.
Aye,
that.
passes 7-0. All right. Ms. Smith, anything?
No.
You good?
All
Okay.
that stuff's been covered.
Kyle, is there anything particular on there, a consent agenda?
Yeah,
Information,
particularly-
anything?
Yeah,
Help?
just on the lease agreement on the parking, that's mainly why. I just, you know, I have concerns on, and I know we're doing a 5-year we're investing that money. It seems like there could be an opportunity to continue along the same path that we had on Blaze and kind of just extend those parking out. But I don't fully agree with the location of that, parking right there.
Any further discussion on that?
And I looked at that, Mayor, I didn't see anything on there, because Kyle, that means you voted, well, you know that, but voted no on everything on the consent agenda, but I don't think there's anything on there that required a unanimous vote, or that would be, that you would be concerned with, but.
Okay.
What we got here?
Okay. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Reed.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Vote to motion.
Aye.
Aye, 7-0.
I don't know what the hell she's got here. Sign some of these on the 8th and everybody else sign them on the 22nd.
What color you got in these?